Have you ever felt a sudden, inexplicable shiver or a warm sensation in your chest while thinking of someone, only to find out they were thinking of you too? Stop checking his Instagram stories or waiting for a message that never comes. The truth about his hidden feelings isn't on your screen, but encoded within your own physical body. This video reveals how to tap into the psychology of love through a lens rarely discussed, the intersection of ancient wisdom and modern energetic coherence, showing you exactly how to detect when he secretly loves you, without needing a single word of confirmation. By watching this video until the end, you will master a 33-second practice that shifts your frequency from desperate longing to magnetic certainty, reclaiming your inner power and self-worth. If you've ever been struggling with emotional distance, or wondering why he pulls away just when things seem to get close, this approach will give you the psychological tools to bridge that gap through the collective unconscious. You will learn why your past attempts at manifestation failed and how to finally align your mind and heart to become the version of yourself that doesn't chase, but attracts. Are you tired of the anxiety that comes with emotional attachment and the constant cycle of does he or doesn't he? Have you felt the sting of repressed emotions or the exhaustion of trying to decode his silence? We are going straight to the point to explain what it really means when there is a disconnect between you, and how Jung explains the invisible threads that connect to souls. This isn't just about him. It is about your evolution into a state of emotional control where you no longer wait to be chosen, but realize you are the prize. The journey to understanding why we feel disconnected from those we love begins deep within the structures of human psyche, a realm where Carl Jung spent a lifetime exploring the invisible bridges between individuals. To truly grasp the love psychology that governs your current relationship, you must first accept a counterintuitive truth. The external signs you are desperately seeking, the texts, the likes, the social media, breadcrumbs are merely shadows of a much deeper reality occurring in the unconscious. Most people live their lives in a state of reactive anxiety, constantly monitoring for signs he loves you, as if they were detectives investigating a crime. Yet this very behavior creates a frequency of lack that pushes love further away. When Jung explains the concept of synchronicity in the collective unconscious, he is inviting us to understand that distance is an illusion maintained by the ego. You might perceive a painful emotional distance between you and him, but on a psychological level, your energies are constantly interacting. If he is fighting his feelings, it is often because he senses your desperation, which acts as an energetic weight. This is why he does this. He is reacting to the pressure of your need, not the beauty of your soul. To change this dynamic, you must transition from a seeker to an emitter, realizing that your self-worth is the primary signal you send out into the universe. Understanding the psychology of love requires us to look into the shadow, that part of ourselves where we hide our deepest fears and unacknowledged desires. Often, when you feel that he pulls away, it is a direct reflection of your own internal emotional attachment to a specific outcome. You are so focused on falling in love or being loved that you lose sight of your own inner power. This creates a vacuum. In emotional psychology, we learned that the more we obsess over someone's hidden feelings, the more we reinforce our own sense of inadequacy. We become like a beggar, hoping for a coin of attention, rather than a millionaire of the soul who has so much internal abundance that others are naturally drawn to our light. This is the secret to emotional control. It is not about manipulating him to think about you, but about reaching a state of such profound alignment that his thoughts of you become inevitable. When you stop looking for external validation and start focusing on your internal state, you begin to see this secretly loves you, signs manifesting in your own physical sensations. Your body is a far more reliable radar than your mind, because the body does not lie. It feels the resonance of his thoughts before your conscious mind can process them. By learning to watch for this sign within your own nervous system, you bypass the games of the ego and connect directly to the source of his repressed emotions. The beauty of love psychology as seen through a Jungian lens is that it empowers the individual to take responsibility for the energetic field they inhabit. If you're experiencing silence or a painful period of detachment, it is often a necessary crucible for your growth. This silence isn't a void. It is a space where your inner power can be forged. Many women spend years trying to figure out what it really means when a man becomes distant, not realizing that the answer lies in their own relationship with the unconscious. We are all connected through a web of psychic energy, and when you shift your internal frequency from I need him to I am complete, the signal you emit changes instantly. This is where the 33-second practice becomes a bridge. It is not a trick of the mind. It is a recalibration of the heart. By focusing on the heart-brain coherence, You are essentially dialing his number in the collective unconscious. If he has hidden feelings, your state of calm and certain joy will act as a beacon, pulling those feelings to the surface. You must understand that falling in love is often a process of two shadows meeting and either clashing or integrating. When you do the work to integrate your own shadow, you no longer fear his emotional distance. You see it for what it is, a temporary misalignment that can be corrected through the power of letting go. We must address the trap of emotional attachment that keeps so many people stuck in a cycle of suffering. This attachment is usually rooted in a lack of self-worth, where we believe that our happiness is dependent on his presence. But as Jung explains, the true goal of the human experience is individuation, becoming your whole, authentic self. When you achieve this, you become a millionaire of spirit, and your energy becomes irresistible. You no longer need to wonder about signs. He loves you because you feel the love within yourself first. This internal state of being is the most powerful manifestation tool in existence. It is about moving from a state of wanting to a state of having in the emotional realm. If you can feel the certainty of his thoughts in your body right now, you have already created that reality in the field of the unconscious. This is the ultimate lesson of emotional psychology. Reality follows feeling, not the other way around. By mastering your emotional control and understanding the hidden mechanics of the unconscious, you stop being a victim of his whims and start being the architect of your own romantic destiny. You realize that silence is often where the deepest connections are grown, and by letting go of the need for proof, you finally allow the proof to manifest in your physical reality. The reason most people fail to see results when trying to influence their romantic reality is rooted in a fundamental misunderstanding of how the mind and heart interact with the fabric of reality. When you are desperately looking for signs he loves you, you are inadvertently broadcasting a signal of not having. In the psychology of love, this is the most destructive state one can inhabit. You believe you are manifesting love, but your internal state is actually vibrating with the frequency of emotional distance. You are thinking of the person from a place of hunger, rather than thinking from the state of being already loved. This is why he does this, why he feels a sudden urge to distance himself further when you try to pull him closer. He is subconsciously reacting to the pressure of your lactoshanties. You must understand what Jung explains about the nature of psychic energy. It does not recognize the boundaries of space. When your thoughts are fueled by anxiety, you are sending a chaotic signal into the unconscious that acts as a repellent. If you want to tap into his hidden feelings, you must first master your own emotional control. You cannot be a spiritual millionaire if your heart is acting like a bankrupt beggar. True inner power comes from the realization that the connection already exists within the collective unconscious, and your only job is to stop blocking it with your fears of being abandoned or ignored. To truly understand what it really means to connect with someone at a distance, we must look at the concept of coherence. Most of the time, our thoughts and our emotions are in conflict. We think about him, but we feel the pain of his silence. The split creates a weak and confused signal. In emotional psychology, we learn that for a thought to influence the field, it must be electrified by a congruent emotion. This is the core of the 33-second practice. It is about aligning your mind, your heart, and your body into a single, laser-focused beam of intention. When you achieve this, you are no longer a victim of emotional attachment. You become a conscious creator of your own experience. If you suspect that he pulls away because he is fighting his feelings, the solution is not to chase him in the physical world, but to settle into a state of deep detachment. This doesn't mean you stop loving him. It means you stop needing the external proof to feel whole. By focusing on your self-worth, you change the gravitational pull of the relationship. You transition from the exhausting cycle of falling in love with a fantasy to the grounded reality of being a woman who knows her value. This shift is what finally allows him to feel the safety required to stop his repressed emotions from ruling his behavior, opening the door for him to realize he secretly loves you. The concept of the shadow is also vital here, as it often contains our deepest insecurities about being enough. When you obsess over his hidden feelings, you are often avoiding the work of looking at your own internal shadows. Why is his silence so loud to you? Why does his emotional distance feel like a threat to your existence? By addressing these questions, you reclaim the energy you've been leaking into the void. Love psychology teaches us that we can only be met by another person as deeply as we have met ourselves. When you do this 33-second practice, you aren't just sending a signal to him. You are rewiring your own nervous system to accept a higher frequency of love. You are training yourself to watch for this sign of internal peace instead of external validation. This is the ultimate form of emotional control. When you are no longer swayed by the presence or absence of a text message, you have attained a level of inner power that is magnetic. He will feel this change. He will sense that the heavy, needy cord of attachment has been replaced by a light, inviting thread of connection. This is the moment when his repressed emotions begin to surface, as the pressure he felt before has vanished, replaced by a vacuum that he naturally wants to fill. Furthermore, we must recognize that the unconscious is a shared sea. When you change the water of your own psyche through letting go and focusing on yourself, the entire sea changes for him as well. This is how you bridge the gap of emotional distance without saying a single word. You are essentially using the psychology of love to create a new blueprint for the relationship. Instead of a dynamic of pursuit and flight, you create a dynamic of resonance. This requires a radical level of honesty with yourself about your intentions. Are you doing this to control him, or to heal the connection? If it is the former, he pulls away further, because the ego can always sense when it is being manipulated. If it is the latter, your signal becomes pure, clear, and irresistible. You become like a millionaire who does not need to ask for money. You already possess the wealth of spirit that others find intoxicating. This is the path to ensuring he secretly loves you with an intensity that matches your own. As you have finally moved past the barriers of the ego and into the realm of true soul connection. By maintaining this state and trusting in the silence, you allow the universe to deliver the results that your frantic mind could never achieve on its own. The transition from theoretical understanding to practical application requires a sacred space where your inner power can finally take root without the interference of the external world's noise. To begin this 33-second practice, you must first understand that your body is the most sophisticated antenna for the unconscious ever created. When you sit alone and begin to breathe naturally, you are not just relaxing. You are recalibrating your nervous system to move away from the fight or flight response, often triggered by emotional distance. Many women make the mistake of trying to manifest while their bodies are flooded with cortisol because he pulls away, but this only amplifies the frequency of desperation. As Jung explains, the psyche and the soma are two sides of the same coin. By placing your hand on your chest and focusing on your heart, you are initiating a process of heart-brain coherence that is essential for emotional control. This is the foundation of becoming an emotional millionaire. You are no longer looking at your phone for signs he loves you. Instead, you are looking within to find the source of your own self-worth. This preparation step is crucial because it signals to your subconscious that you are no longer in a state of lack. You are preparing to emit a signal of certainty. In this moment of silence, you choose a physical anchor, simple gesture, like joining your hands or touching your forehead that will serve as a psychological lock. This gesture is not a magic spell, but a bridge to the psychology of love that allows you to bypass the critical, doubting mind and speak directly to the deeper layers of your being. Once you have established this state of calm and chosen your anchor, you enter phase 1, which is the visualization of the ordinary. This is where most people fail because they try to visualize a dramatic, Hollywood-style confession of love, which only highlights the current emotional distance. Instead, you must visualize an everyday moment where he is simply going about his day, perhaps driving, working, or drinking coffee. Suddenly, you cross his mind for no apparent reason. You are tapping into the love psychology of the collective unconscious, where a thought can travel like a ripple in a pond. As you visualize this, you are not begging for his attention. You are witnessing a natural occurrence. You are recognizing that he secretly loves you and that his thoughts of you are a natural byproduct of your shared connection. When you see him in your mind's eye, you perform your chosen gesture. This is what it really means to anchor a feeling. You are shifting from imagining a scenario to knowing it as a physical reality. In emotional psychology, this shift is known as moving from the mental plane to the somatic plane. You are no longer wondering about his hidden feelings. You are feeling the truth of them in your own heartbeat. This is how you handle the anxiety of falling in love. By grounding the experience in the present moment, making it as real as the air you breathe. The power of this first phase lies in its subtlety and its ability to dissolve the egoist's need for control. When you see him thinking of you while he is in a neutral state, you are bypassing his conscious defenses and his repressed emotions. If he is fighting his feelings, a high-pressure manifestation attempt will only make him retreat further into detachment. However, a light, neutral thought of you, sent through the medium of the unconscious, feels like his own idea. This is the secret to why some people seem to have an effortless pull on others. They understand that inner power comes from a place of peace, not a place of force. As you hold your anchor gesture and feel the certainty in your body, you are essentially erasing the emotional distance that existed seconds before. You are reclaiming your role as a creator in the psychology of love. You are no longer the victim of his silence. You are the architect of a new frequency. This practice helps you overcome the toxic patterns of emotional attachment by teaching you that you can feel the connection whenever you choose, regardless of his current actions. You are training yourself to watch for this sign of internal alignment as the only validation you need. When you feel that click of certainty, you have successfully moved the needle from wanting to heaven. Furthermore, this phase of the process is a direct confrontation with the shadow. The shadow is the part of you that whispers he is not thinking of you or this woe and work. By focusing on the physical sensation and the anchor gesture, you give the shadow nowhere to hide. You are using emotional control to steer the ship of your psyche through the stormy waters of doubt. This is why he does this. He reacts to the version of you that is most dominant in your mind. If the dominant version is the one who is fearful of, he pulls away. He will continue to pull away. But if you embody the woman who is a millionaire of her own affection, he will feel the shift in the energetic field you both share. This is the core of Jung explains regarding the interconnectedness of all things. Your internal change is a global change in the context of your relationship. By the time you finish phase 1, your body should feel a sense of relief, as if a weight has been lifted. You are letting go of the struggle and entering the flow of love psychology. You are now ready to add the emotional charge that will turn this subtle ping into a powerful magnet. But that only happens when the foundation of physical certainty is firmly laid through your anchor and your breath. You are learning to trust the silence, knowing that in the realm of the unconscious, everything is already moving in your favor. As you enter phase 2 of this practice, you must realize that visualization without the correct emotional charge is like a lamp without electricity. It has the form, but it lacks the light. To ensure he feels the impact of your energy across time and space, you must inject an emotion that is simultaneously powerful and light. Many people fail in the psychology of love because they attempt to manifest through a lens of desperation, which only reinforces the emotional distance they are trying to close. Instead, you must cultivate a state of anticipatory gratitude, as if the fact that he is thinking of you right now is as certain as gravity itself. This is where the concept of being a spiritual millionaire becomes vital. You are not begging for attention. You are overflowing with presence. While holding your anchor gesture, you must repeat internal phrases that reprogram your relationship with the unconscious, such as, I don't chase, I emit, I'd receive. This affirmation is not just a motivational mantra, but a declaration of inner power that shifts how you are positioned in the vibrational field. By saying, I receive, you are opening the floodgates for his hidden feelings to find a way back into your reality. If you have ever felt that he pulls away, it is likely because you are emitting a frequency of pursuit. Now, by focusing on your own self-worth, you become the magnetic center. As Jung explains, our external reality is a mirror of our internal tensions. Therefore, by pacifying your mind and body with joy and certainty, you remove the obstacles preventing the signs he loves you from manifesting. This stage requires a mastery over what we call emotional control. You must feel the warmth of this connection in your chest, transforming the idea of he is thinking of me into a felt biological truth. It is not about trying to convince him of anything, but about recognizing that, in the level of love psychology, there is no separation between the thinker and the object of the thought. If he is fighting his feelings, your emission of a frequency of acceptance and lightness acts as a bomb that dissolves his resistance. Most men retreat, not because of a lack of love, but because of the emotional pressure that excessive emotional attachment places upon them. When you shift your state to one of gratitude and certainty, you remove that pressure, allowing his repressed emotions to rise to the surface without fear of judgment or suffocation. You must fully inhabit the identity of someone who is already loved, because in the economy of the soul, you only receive what you already feel you possess. This is how you handle the pain of falling in love in an unbalanced way. You balance the scales by reclaiming your emotional sovereignty. By repeating, I don't chase, you are sending a clear signal to the unconscious that your happiness is not a hostage to another person as actions, which, ironically, is the most attractive thing you can do to make him stop maintaining that emotional distance. Phase 3 is perhaps the most challenging and yet the most liberating part of the process, the act of letting go. After creating the image and infusing it with the emotion of gratitude, you must release it all gently. Imagine the image dissolving into a soft white light and relax your anchor gesture. This is the moment of true detachment. In the context of emotional psychology, detachment does not mean you don't care. It means you trust the strength of the signal sent so deeply that you don't need to check the progress every minute. When you demand constant proof, such as checking if he viewed your stories or if he is online, you are telling the universe that you do not believe in your own inner power. This creates an immediate blockage. You must learn to watch for this sign. The peace that arises when you finally hand over the result to something greater than yourself. If he secretly loves you, that love will bloom in the space you create through your emotional absence of need. Jung explains that excessive consciousness over a desire can burn the seed before it sprouts. Therefore, after the practice, you must enter a state of absolute silence about what you have done. Do not analyze it, do not tell your friends, and do not try to decipher his behavior based on the exercise. Silence is the womb where manifestation grows without interference. The mastery of love psychology requires you to treat his energy with the same respect you treat your own. By releasing the practice, you are allowing him the free will to respond to your signal in an organic way. If you remain in a state of anxious vigilance, you will only manifest more anxiety. The emotional control you cultivate here is what sets you apart, elevating you to the status of a millionaire of relationships, where you know your value is intrinsic and unshakable. To understand what it really means to detach is to understand that real control comes from within, not from without. By letting go of the image, you are trusting that the unconscious will do the heavy lifting of connecting the dots. If he is dealing with hidden feelings, your relaxation will be the green light he needed to move closer. Remember, the energy of needing is repulsive, while the energy of internally possessing is irresistible. As you conclude the exercise and go about your day, you must carry the feeling that the signal has been sent and received. This is the secret to transforming repressed emotions into a vibrant, reciprocal connection. Keep the focus on your self-worth and let silence become your greatest ally. For it is there that the invisible becomes visible and what was once just a thought transforms into a physical embrace. Alright, you've mastered the 33-second practice, but now comes the real challenge. The final frontier in this journey into the psychology of love. It's all about maintaining that powerful frequency throughout the mundane, ordinary moments of your day. See, this is where most people falter. They treat the practice like a quick fix, a spiritual band-aid, only to dive right back into a state of anxiety and emotional attachment the second they glance at their phone. To truly bridge any emotional distance and ensure he remains within your energetic orbit, you must use the maintenance tools that keep your inner power unshakable. Let's start with the first tool, the brief repetition of your anchor gesture. Think of it as a microdose of confidence. Throughout your day, whenever you feel that familiar pull, that urge to check his social media, to see if he's online, or to wonder if he's pulling away, just perform your chosen gesture for a split second. You don't need to redo the entire visualization. This is simply about reminding your nervous system of the state of certainty you've already created. It's a psychological ping that reaffirms your status as a spiritual millionaire, someone who already possesses the love she seeks. In emotional psychology, this is known as habituating the state of having. Instead of falling back into the old, painful loop of desperately searching for signs, he loves you. You use this tiny anchor to instantly return to the internal, knowing that he secretly loves you. If a sliver of doubt creeps in, counter it with a simple, neutral, grounding thought. The signal has been sent. This powerful phrase short-circuits your ego's frantic need for immediate proof and reinforces your emotional control. By doing this, you stop the energy of lack and neediness from leaking back into your field, ensuring that your connection stays clean, magnetic, and powerful. Now for the second maintenance tool, which is absolutely essential, the daily 3-breath heart reset. Let's be real, the world will constantly try to pull you back into old patterns, into falling in love with your own suffering and anxiety. If you catch yourself obsessing over his silence, getting lost in stories about why he hasn't texted, just stop. Stop whatever you're doing, and take 3 deep, intentional breaths directly into your heart space. As you breathe in, reconnect with that profound feeling of self-worth you cultivated during your practice. This simple reset ensures you stay open to receive, rather than closing yourself off with fear and doubt. The famous psychologist Carl Jung explains that the process of becoming a whole, integrated person requires us to be the master of our own internal environment. When you take these 3 breaths, You are actively reclaiming your energy from the external world and placing it back where it belongs. Inside you, this is what it truly means to be emotionally sovereign. You are no longer waiting for a message on a screen to tell you that you are valuable. You are the source of that value. And this shift, this is what finally stops him from fighting his feelings. When he no longer senses that your mood, your happiness, and your sense of self are dependent on his actions. His subconscious feels a profound sense of relief. The hidden feelings he might have been suppressing can finally come up for air, because the perceived threat of your neediness has been completely neutralized by your own healthy detachment. You are now operating from a place of advanced love psychology, one that prioritizes the health and integrity of the connection over the desperate demands of the ego. However, we must be vigilant. There are 3 major blockers that can dismantle all your progress in an instant. The first blocker is compulsivity. This is when you start doing the 33-second practice over and over again out of panic. This isn't reinforcing the signal. It's a glaring sign of extreme emotional attachment. It sends a loud, clear message of, I don't have this, so I must keep trying to get it. In the realm of the unconscious, this is a massive red flag that broadcasts desperation, not attraction. The second blocker is the constant, obsessive checking for signs. If you find yourself repeatedly looking for evidence that the practice is working, scrolling through his profile, rereading old texts, analyzing his every move, you are essentially telling the universe that you do unbelieve it worked in the first place. True inner power doesn't need to check the mailbox every 5 minutes. It knows the letter is on its way. This compulsive checking is often a defense mechanism of what Jung called the shadow. Your unconscious mind trying to protect you from disappointment by keeping you in a state of hypervigilance. But this state actually repels what you want. The third, and arguably the most dangerous blocker, is telling others about it too soon. When you talk about this deep, internal practice before the results have fully materialized in the physical world, you dissipate the powerful psychic energy you've been building. You're seeking external validation for an internal shift, which dramatically weakens the potency of your signal. Jung explained that secrecy, especially in the initial stages of a profound psychic process, is vital to keep the energy focused and contained. By maintaining a dignified silence, you protect the delicate seed of your manifestation from the doubts, fears, and projections of others. Ultimately, the goal of this entire journey into the psychology of love isn't just about getting him to think about you. It's about transforming your entire experience of being. You must move from the position of someone waiting to be chosen to the powerful position of the one who chooses. This is the absolute pinnacle of self-worth. When you stop asking, does he like me? And you start asking, is his energy a match for mine? Does he deserve a place in my reality? The entire power dynamic shifts. This is the secret behind his behavior. A man is instinctively and powerfully drawn to a woman who is a millionaire of her own affection, because she represents a sanctuary of peace, not a source of pressure. By letting go of the need for him to validate your existence, you become the most magnetic, irresistible version of yourself. This is the true meaning of emotional control. It is the ability to hold your own value, to know your own worth, regardless of the emotional distance he might temporarily create. As you continue to watch for this sign of your own internal peace, you will find that the external signs you were once desperate for, the texts, the calls, the heartfelt confessions, begin to happen effortlessly, as a natural byproduct. They are the secondary effects of your primary internal shift. You have mastered the art of being both the observer and the creator within the vast landscape of the unconscious mind. So, as we conclude, please remember this. The hidden feelings he has are merely a reflection of the depth you are willing to explore within yourself. You have the tools, you have the knowledge of love psychology, and you have the inner power to command your reality. Do not let the illusions of the physical world or the temporary silence of his phone discourage you for even a second. Trust the process. Trust the psychology of love, and above all, trust yourself. You are no longer a victim of his repressed emotions. You are the frequency that calls them home. By aligning your thoughts, your emotions, and your body, you have created an unbreakable thread that spans the collective unconscious, connecting you to him. Carry this certainty with you like a crown. You are the one who decides the quality of your connections. You are the one who dictates your own worth. And because you have done the deep work to integrate your shadow and master your emotional attachment, you can rest in the absolute knowledge that what is meant for you will never, ever pass you by. The signal has been sent, the field is responding, and you are ready to receive the love that is rightfully and divinely yours. Thanks for watching. If you feel there is still a hidden shadow blocking your connection, I've left a private resource for you in the pinned comment. It is designed to help you identify the exact psychological barrier currently affecting your inner power, something a bit too personal to share in a public video. Check it out now to complete the transformation we started today. If today's practice felt powerful, there is one specific psychological trap I detailed in my previous video that could still be neutralizing your signal. It explains exactly what happens in his unconscious when you stop chasing perspective most people completely miss. Watch it next to ensure your self-worth remains unshakable while the results manifest.